Scientists and faith communities can be in better communication, and it is very important because the knowledge that scientists are gaining about the natural world, the world we live in, is very important for the world at large, both in sort of a philosophical realm so we can understand where we've come from in terms of our natural history, and also to understand, practically speaking, how to address issues of environmental needs, of disease, of food production, all these kinds of things that are informed by science and technology. And yet it is religious communities that often have the hands and feet that are out serving the world and disseminating some of this knowledge in ways that benefit the world. So it is important to have that communication of scientists with religious communities talking about what we're learning, helping it to be disseminated in a very practical way. And that conversation is two-way. It's very important for scientists to understand from religious communities what kinds of questions are out there about who we are as human beings, and what does science have to tell us about who we are, and what kinds of questions would be most useful for scientists to address to help the world at large. So this is a conversation that needs to be happening more and more. And of course, these are overlapping communities. Many scientists are, in fact, people of faith themselves. And so it's that fertilizer within these overlapping communities that can help the dialogue. It's important to note that many scientists throughout history have been motivated by their own faith to do science. So these enterprises have actually fertilized one another throughout human history. Scientists, at their best, are engaged in a quest for truth, understanding how the universe works. How did we get here in terms of the physical universe? How is nature operating and evolving? And to apply some of that knowledge to how we can better our lives and the lives of others. Likewise, religious communities are also engaged in a quest for truth, maybe different types of truth, but also how to engage the knowledge that we have, even through science, in the betterment of the world. So many scientists feel that it's very important for the public, and in particular religious communities, to engage in science, to have a better grasp of what we're learning about the natural world, in order to better use science and to use the benefits of science to help the entire world. Religious communities are often engaged in public service, in teaching, in education, in service to the poor. By having a better grasp of science and a better understanding of science, they can do that better, and it helps scientists to use our knowledge better to disseminate, to bless and help the whole world. Likewise, scientists learn from religious communities about what kinds of questions and issues are most interesting to the public at large. So therefore, for the health of science and for the world, scientists are often very pleased when religious communities will engage with issues of science and its implications. Science is a wonderful tool that helps us understand very specific types of issues and questions, issues related to the natural physical world. How does the world work? How do the forces of nature work? Science is a wonderful frame by which to ask and address questions and evaluate whether something is accurate or inaccurate or how things work. Questions of religious faith often address even deeper and more broader questions of purpose and meaning, questions of why and how should we live, questions of God and of providence for our lives. Those kinds of questions can't be addressed well with the tools of science. Neither can questions of science really be addressed well with questions of faith. Therefore, it's helpful to understand what kind of question you're having and addressing and use the right tool. So usually when people think that there is some kind of difficulty between science and religion, it's because someone is trying to address one type of question with the other type of tool. And if we understand these different types of questions and the kinds of things science can address well and that science can't address well, and likewise the kinds of issues that religious faith can address and can't address well, then we do well, and we find really that there's no need for conflict. Science and faith are both very important parts of the human experience. they address different aspects of the human experience. Science addresses the natural world in which we live. Science is a wonderful tool to help us understand nature and the forces of nature and how they work and how they've worked throughout the natural history of the universe. Faith is part of the human experience in interpreting why. Capital W, why? Why are we here? How should we live? Are there aspects to living that are not only seen through instruments of science? These things work together to give humans a more holistic view of life and our place in the universe.